Executor, Shirley, Master Yu has an important announcement to make, so please come to the Infinite Sundial at your earliest convenience.
Icarus?
Executor, Miss Shirley, it's good to see you're both doing well. The second group of reinforcement teams from Hykros has arrived in Domain 9 to assist you. We're ready to provide full support for your upcoming operations.
You've really been a great help. Thank you.
It seems you're already acquainted and there's no need for my introduction. That's good. Saves time. I'll briefly explain my investigation and the decision from headquarters. The cause of the abnormal authorization has been identified, and I'll provide a detailed report on the specifics later. Gestos and Tempos are working together to decipher the dark forms. Master Yu's invitation likely indicates an advancement in our understanding of the alien civilization. As for what the deciphered information means, I believe you all have your own answers.
Nanyin, Domain 9, and our fate.
That's right. Let's go. Master Yu. After re-examining the authorization process Gestos conducted on the Omnium reactor, we've discovered the root cause of why the Infinite Sundial couldn't operate at its regular power level. Essentially, the reactor wasn't activated properly, and Gestos failed to grant it the necessary operational permissions. So, it appears that we have completed the authorization process, which should have enabled the Infinite Sundial to channel Omnium energy. But in reality, Gestos couldn't alter the operating power level. Therefore, after reaching an agreement with Tempos, we re-executed Gestos' authorization protocol. The results met our expectations, and the Infinite Sundial is now operating at full capacity, supporting the development of the third-generation timestamp system. It was a deceptive illusion. At the moment Gestos attempted to authorize the reactor, it received two similar yet distinct sets of instructions. One was Gestos' authorization command, while the other was from the disruptive factor I had previously speculated about. The reactor executed the latter command, which means Gestos wasn't the actual authorizer. Hykros didn't have the authority over the Omnium reactor, making all subsequent commands ineffective.
Then, how did the Infinite Sundial manage to start up and successfully receive the Omnium energy from Mara?
That brings us to the question, what exactly is this disruptive factor? I had considered it during my investigation in Domain 9, but it was such a bold assumption, and I needed more evidence to substantiate its viability. After reviewing the headquarters documents and the archives in Aquaville, the answer seemed obvious. Tempos also possesses an authorization ability similar to Gestos. When the Infinite Sundial requested authorization for the Omnium reactor, it was Tempos that issued the command in response.
But why would Tempos have similar capabilities to Gestos, when Domain 9 has always been isolated from the outside world?
This has to do with a piece of distant history. Long story short, whether it's Domain 9, Esperia, Vera, or other regions, none of us are the original inhabitants of Ida. We migrated here many years ago aboard the spaceship Distant Beacon. It may sound romantic, but history is not a work of art, and grand space operas only exist in our imaginations. The reality is often full of hardship and sorrow, and we usually define the mistakes as lessons learned. Of course, there's nothing wrong with believing in beautiful fantasies. They give us courage to face adversity. Excuse me, I digress. For some reason, Distant Beacon did not land successfully, but self-destructed above Ida's orbit. Before executing the self-destruct command, it released 5 frontier pods. Only 2 of the 5 pods managed to land successfully on the surface, and those frontiers were our ancestors. Another 2 crashed, and 1 lost contact with the rest. Combining information from both sources, we now have sufficient evidence to prove that Domain 9 was settled by frontiers from the then-missing Frontier Pod number 8.
Domain 9 shares the same origin as Ida, which is the conjecture we have always hoped to confirm. Due to the current circumstances, Domain 9 is unable to engage in more in-depth communication with Hykros, so we're putting this topic on hold for the time being. However, in our joint investigation of the factors influencing the infinite sundial, we stumbled upon decisive evidence that supports this theory. Tempos has the authorization ability, just like Gestos.
Maybe well...
You mentioned Distant Beacon. It seems that both Tempos and Gestos' authorization abilities are connected to it. Since they all originated from the same spaceship, it makes sense that they would share similar functionalities, right? Could Tempos be the supercomputer from the missing Frontier Pod number 8, or something like that?
Great guess, Miss Shirley. I'm just getting to that part. The precursor to Hykros' Gestos was the central supercomputer SAM from Distant Beacon. Although Tempos was exclusive to Pod number 8, it shared some of SAM's technology. It's not surprising that it inherited the authorization capability with the similarities in their computational structures. The issue we've encountered confirmed it.
So that's how it is.
When Pod 8 made an emergency landing on the surface of Domain 9, the compartments were severely damaged, and most of the facilities became inoperable. Apart from Tempos, all the other crucial instruments and data were ultimately lost, despite attempts to salvage them. After completing a basic survey of Domain 9, we discovered the mysterious Black Jade artifacts left by an alien civilization. Naturally, our focus gradually shifted from Omnium to the unique resources found within Domain 9. Using the Black Jade artifacts as a foundation, Pod number 8 pioneered a technological direction unique to Domain 9. Over generations, this technology has developed significantly and has become vastly different from the era of Distant Beacon.
Who would have thought that the long-lost friends would eventually be able to reunite? Our fates, it seems, are always closely intertwined. Sorry, back to the topic.
Unfortunately, now isn't the time to celebrate the reunion. We've deciphered more about the darkness in Nanyin, and we don't have much time left. As we had speculated, after Nanyin activated the incubation capsule in Hendeka County, she transformed into a dark wretch due to the darkness energy conversion. Not just any dark wretch. Dr. Rubilia thinks that she has become the hive mother of a new order of darkness, entirely under the alien civilization's control. This alien civilization coveted the adaptability and destructive power of the darkness. They wanted to harness this power for themselves, but were hindered by the darkness's unparalleled evolutionary capabilities. Subjugating the darkness and making the whole species submit to them was the only way. As you've seen, they focused on cultivating an outstanding individual to defeat the Hive Mother. And by dominating this new Hive Mother, they intended to seize control of the entire species of darkness. But they failed and suffered severe backlash. After hastily sealing the Hive Mother using Black Jade technology, they abandoned this land. This might also be why Domain 9 has been isolated from the outside world. Perhaps as a way to hide from the Hive Mother's revenge? We still have much to uncover on this aspect.
Arrogance truly is a common trait among all living beings, without exception.
But this method is not unfeasible. The current Nanyin is an extension of their will. She's seizing the Christomaxes and turning people into dark wretches, all for one reason: to expand the power of this new order of darkness, preparing for the moment to contest the Hive Mother.
The soldiers that were turned into dark wretches by Nanyin, have they become part of the new order of darkness under her control? Are they all pawns in Nanyin's fight against the Hive Mother?
I'm afraid so. This is a civil war within the darkness, and we are but minor variables that can be exploited in Nanyin's eyes. So even if we haven't made contact with the outside world or broken through the Black Jade ruins, Nanyin would still have seized the Christomaxes in them. The fate of Domain 9 was sealed when she completed the experiment. But humanity will not yield to so-called fate, despite our inherent weakness. Just like our ancestors, who were once trapped in this forgotten land and transformed it into the Domain 9 we see today. Our next step is to get ahead of Nanyin, secure the Christomax from the Aquaville ruin, and stop her from continuing the fusion. Executor, Miss Shirley, and Mr. Icarus, I hope you can continue to support this operation.
It's my honor.
The four heads have gathered at the Aquaville ruin. Ban Wei-jun will guide you there. I'm counting on you.
We will do our best. According to our calculations, the energy interference barrier can now fully cover Aquaville Mansion, and the test results are as expected. Unfortunately, we are unable to extend the barrier to cover the entire Aquaville region.
Until the infinite sundial is repaired, the energy transfer is limited. I understand that the barrier we have now is the result of all-out efforts from the Niners' heavy machinery. Thank you for your dedication. We'll stick to the original plan, secure the Christomax, store it in the container, and quickly move it to Aquaville Mansion. Executor, Miss Shirley, you're here. This is Miss Ban Wei-jin, the director of Niners' Heavy Machinery R&D Department.
I've heard so much about you both. It's an honor to meet you. The pleasure is ours. Were you just discussing the operation plans for the Aquaville ruin?
This mission is critical. We're in the middle of verifying the specifics of the barrier that blocks the Christomax energy. We must seize the Christomax before Nanyin becomes aware and secure it safely within Aquaville Mansion. The energy barrier there can block and neutralize the powerful energy radiated by the Christomax. This way, Nanyin won't be able to detect its location, buying us time to set up the third-generation timestamp system. Once the timestamp system is updated, that'll be our signal to launch a counterattack against Nanyin and the darkness.
But the energy barrier only covers the Aquaville Mansion area. That means along the route from the ruin to Aquaville Mansion, we can only rely on a temporary container to block the energy emitted by the Christomax. We must ensure that nothing goes wrong with this vulnerability. Any slight mistake could undo all our efforts. It's a pity our resources are limited. Otherwise, extending the coverage to the Aquaville ruin would be the safest. Anyway, I'm counting on you.
We'll do everything we can to ensure the safety of the Christomax. Please, rest assured.
Where could Nanyin be now? Why hasn't she attacked us before?
We haven't had any recent sightings of her. We can only estimate her possible whereabouts from the activities of the special group of darkness she controls. With the power she possesses now, she could easily wipe us out. In fact, I'm pretty sure that was her plan back at the Ignisville ruin. She may see us as nothing more than gnats, but even the smallest insects have repeatedly disrupted her plans. That's probably why she attacked you last time. Darkness energy isn't easy to control. Overdoing it can backfire. Your escape from the ruin last time wasn't just luck.
But she won't make the same mistake again.
We don't have much time left. Miss Ban Wei Jean, please lead the way.
Of course. Please follow me. It's a little embarrassing to say, but it wasn't until recently that we confirmed this with Hykros. The people of the outside world and us here in Domain 9 were all descendants of interstellar pioneers from Earth. Pod number 8 that crash-landed here was mainly carrying members of the Earth-era industrial manufacturer, 9 Arcs Industry, along with their array of construction equipment.
Master Yu has also told us that due to the severe damage to the pod during the crash, a lot of data and equipment were unusable, which is truly unfortunate.
Yes, after discovering the timestamp technology left within the Black Jade ruins, we shifted our research focus. Later, to accommodate the development needs of the various states, we restructured the organization of 9 Arcs Industry. Gradually, we established the organizations you are familiar with today, such as Niners Heavy Machinery, Zhengong, and Tianjiang Pavilion.
Fascinating. We never had the chance to get to know Domain 9's history like this before.
Indeed. I guess it might have something to do with the long-standing views of the people in Domain 9. That is, those from the outside world are yet another civilization battling against the darkness or something like that.
After all, it was only pod number 8 that crash-landed in Domain 9, which then became isolated from the outside world. One might think that pod number 8 reached its destination, planet Ida, while the other pods were lost in the vastness of space, right?
Over time, this kind of thinking stuck with a lot of people. I believe this misunderstanding will soon be cleared up. Let's save the reunion celebrations for after everything is over.
We've cleared the darkness in the surrounding areas. This should cut off Nanyin's ability to tap into their consciousness network and gather information here. Additionally, I've asked Master Yu to power the temporary interference barrier we've set up here with the Infinite Sundial, in hopes of minimizing the risks.
Lord Mingjing has been quite thorough. I don't think we're missing anything. This is Mr. Icarus from Hycros, here to assist with the operation.
I look forward to working with you all. When this is over, I will share my experience with the team. It should really help with their guard duties.
Thank you for all your assistance. Now that we're ready, let's get moving.